See if you can straighten that silhouette up where it's square to the camera. Started. How do I do that?
All right, now it is.
So can y'all hear us now?
Yeah.
Wow. So everything's good now?
Don't touch
it. I knew I could get support from my brother. Don't touch anything. That's awesome.
Hey, my sister. All right, everybody.
All right.
It's working.
Good deal. So, gonna have a good show tonight. Gonna do a little housekeeping in the first 15 or 20 minutes, and then Greg MRVICH from Ballistic BBQ is going to call in as a guest, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about his background a little bit, what influenced him to get into the barbecue world, and a couple other things about his channel, Ballistic BBQ, and then we're going to get into his new book. His new book is called American Barbecue Sauces, Marinades, Rubs, and More from the South and Beyond. And so we're going to get into that a little bit. And I'm really excited about it. He sent me a digital copy, and I've been reading it. And if you have watched his channel at all, if you haven't, you need to. But if you have watched his channel at all, like I have, his book, I would expect nothing different from Greg as far as the quality, the research that's gone behind it. It's top notch, just like his videos are. And so it's a really good book. We'll talk about how to get it and all that stuff in a little bit. But great to have him as a call-in guest. So really excited about that. Before we get into that, however, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping stuff. Channel update, we're at 5,395 subscribers. And our the turkey video just went over 1,200 views, so pretty excited about that. We filmed a video today, and you guys can probably look for that video to hit. Raj, good to see you tonight, brother. Mike, Everyday Barbecue, good to see you. Dan's Outdoor Cooking, good to see you. Gavin, good to see you. Good day.
Hey, Amy. Me and Amy just had a great talk.
Canadian Jim, good to have you. Austin, good to have you. Daddy Dutch Barbecue, good to have you. Smoky Joe Barbecue, good to have you. Miss Rhonda, good to see you. Kurt, my pal Vega, good to see everybody. I received my patches and sticker. Awesome. Good.
Hey, Roger. I hope y'all have a good Thanksgiving too. Amy, I enjoyed our conversation too. We'll have to do it more often.
So today we filmed a video. It'll probably be ready to upload Friday. It's a flank steak on a board sauce. And you'll have to look at the video to see what a board sauce is if you don't already know. But it's really simple. It sounds fancy, but it's really not. But adds a ton of flavor, and it's a real interesting way to, as a presentation, to present your food on a table, just kind of family style if you wanted to do it that way. So the flank steak turned out great, by the way. Very pleased with that. We cooked it on the Gaucho grill, but you could cook it on any type of grill that you wanted to cook it on. But really, besides the flank steak and knowing how to cut it and all that, the star of the show really was the board sauce. So stay tuned for that Friday. We'll be uploading that probably Friday afternoon. The Real Joey B. Greetings from Dallas, Texas. Greetings, brother. And for everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to give thanks and spend time with your family. That's really important, and that's kind of what this time is all about. Being thankful for what you have and your family members that you still have with you. So make sure that you do that and give thanks. And just enjoy the day, you know. I'm going to be cooking a turkey tomorrow morning. Brandy and Sarah cooked a pumpkin pie, another pumpkin pie, just like she did on her video. If y'all haven't watched that pumpkin pie video, check it out. She did a pumpkin pie on the Chimp pellet grill. Turned out really good. And she's cooked another one. And also, what else y'all cook? A pecan pie brownie. So basically, it's a chocolate brownie with pecan pie filling on top. Mm-hmm. And I did taste test that, and it's off the chain. So she cooked those today. I'm going to cook another spatchcock turkey tomorrow after the spatchcock turkey I did the other week in the video. That turned out really good. And so I got volunteered to do another one. So I'll be doing that tomorrow morning and have it ready to eat around lunch tomorrow. So
not volunteered.
What would you call it?
I didn't volunteer. I just said that's what we're bringing because that means I didn't have to cook anything.
Yeah.
You get to grill.
So
I did my part.
Miss Piddlin volunteered me to do another one. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, voluntold, Amy said.
Voluntold, yeah. That's probably more accurate. Delana, good to have you tonight.
And Stephen is home. Glad that you're home and feeling better.
Rod says pecan is what you take on a long road trip. Yeah, I don't even think about it. That's just what we say around here. So pecan. That sounds a little too fancy.
Amy said pecan.
Pecan? Yeah. Pecan's a little too fancy.
Pecan.
Yeah, it's pecans. Happy Thanksgiving, 64 Samsky. Samsky. Some of the names kind of trip me up a little bit. Eddie Berry, good to have you. Bottle Cap Barbecue, good to see you. Dang awesome.
We think the same. Can I have your number?
Yeah. Y'all should get married, by the way.
And have a son named Seth. How says he says pecan. That's not even the right spelling.
That's a lie. You can't believe anything he says.
Jace's first time smoking a turkey tomorrow.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask, Jace. Thank you for kicking me into that. Is let us know what all of you guys are cooking. Obviously, the go-to is going to be turkey, but you know some people like to have a ham, you know, on Thanksgiving instead. So tomorrow Brandy's parents are cooking a ham, and I'll be doing a turkey, so we're going to have both. So,
Eddie, what's going on?
Eddie Haynes, good to see you, brother. Just pulled 2 12-pound briskets off the Weber Summit charcoal. That's what I'm talking about. So we know what Eddie's having tomorrow. Sounds really good, man. Jimmy Q, good to have you tonight. Dan's Outdoor Cooking. Good to have all you guys. So I hope all you guys have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Again, spend it with your family and friends. So let us know. Everyday barbecue. I appreciate you, brother. And thank you. Gavin wants to know what's in the glass. Apple juice. I have loved apple juice since I was a little baby, and just sometimes I get the craving for apple juice, and I was just craving some apple juice tonight, and so I love apple juice. It's only partial. I'm partially right.
No.
Harley says he's finishing up his Thanksgiving now. Tomorrow, me and his wife are going to the movies.
Me and his wife. Don't.
Well, he says
read it.
Tomorrow, me and my wife are going to.
Harley, he's not going anywhere with Dwayna. He will be down here with me.
With to the movies. So, something and that's okay too. Sometimes when you get an empty nest and that kind of thing, you can just do your own thing, and that's okay too.
What are you talking about, empty nest?
Like when if you like their kids are going and doing different things, and so it's just going to be them two. So, Dog Father Barbecue, good to have you tonight.
Hey, Jeremy. Austin, that's very true. That's exactly what's in his glass.
Kinda. Harley, you ain't going anywhere with my wife.
Yeah, he's not, Harley. I have him under control.
Oh. So again, you guys let us know what you guys are cooking tomorrow. Something besides turkey. If it's hams, Eddie Hank's cooking brisket tonight. If you cook something different, let us know.
Ron's got turkey, but her backup is ribs.
Nothing wrong with that. Ribs on a Thanksgiving.
You gonna tell him about Nate?
Yeah. And so that kind of seems to be a trend going now, is more non-traditional type Thanksgiving meals. So Kirsty Moody, good to have you tonight. Yeah. Stouts, scotch, and shepherd's pie. Man, that sounds good. Shepherd's pie for us tomorrow. Shepherd's pie, like shepherd's pie with a turkey, like a turkey pot pie would be good for Thanksgiving. That'd be good. That's an idea for a video next Thanksgiving.
I've already talked to her and Bill. They have us on the TV.
Oh, wow.
So you can shout out to Bill. He's listening.
Mike says, been salt brining since last night. About to go on the cooker shortly. Awesome. What are you cooking it on, Mike? Let us know what you're cooking it on. That sounds really good. Also, a little quick update while we're waiting. My son Nate, obviously, you've heard that he's been getting ready and preparing to go to the Marine Corps and go off to boot camp. We've just kind of, past couple of weeks, really been waiting for a date. And he got the call this week. And so December 9th, he heads to Paris Island for Marine Corps boot camp. So he's excited. We're excited. Really proud of him for doing that. Can't wait for him to get on those yellow footprints that I have stood on, that my brother Harley has stood on, Fred from Iron Bean Coffee has stood on, and many, many thousands of others have stepped on. And you're only going to step on them once, and that's a great experience. It's a great honor for him to be able to do that, and really excited for him. Kind of smiling as well, because I know what's in store for him. So it's going to be really exciting.
And that's Bill. He couldn't figure it out on his, so he's on.
I'm not surprised.
iPad.
I'm not surprised, Bill. Those Oklahoma folks, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Bill. Bill has stood on those footprints, by the way. Kirsty / Bill Moody. And some of the greatest friends I've ever met. Roger has stepped on H-Town has stepped on those footprints, and some of the best friends that I've ever met, Roger, Bill, Fred, Fetty from Redneck DIY. So many friends that I have met because of the Marine Corps, and it's something that you'll never forget and you'll carry with you the rest of your life. So really proud and excited for him.
Very true, Harley.
Hell, hate, and discontent is what's in store. Well, that it's going to be some of that too, no doubt about it. But that's what makes you who you are when you come out. So, in some twisted, weird way, I kind of miss that, but
yeah,
it's all good. Mick Cotton Barbecue, good to have you in the house tonight. Greg's going to be here at 8:20, which is 5 minutes from now. Hopefully, we get connected on the phone from probably sunny Southern California. I almost got to I know it, Stephen. And hey, I'm proud of you too, brother. Yeah, it'll definitely change your life. And I'm sure, I wonder, because I wasn't there during Thanksgiving, I wonder what they actually do for Thanksgiving. I'm sure it's a big, beautiful, wonderful feast.
He's not going to be there for Thanksgiving.
No.
He's going to be there for Christmas
but tomorrow,
and his birthday.
I wonder if they just let down the guard for just a minute and just let them enjoy a little turkey.
I doubt it.
I kind of doubt it. I barbecue for the vets at my American Legion. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for what you do. No more small bedroom. Well, it's still the same small bedroom. Still the same small bedroom. Crazy Pop, good to have you tonight. Just stopping in for a second. Got a lot of cooking going on. I'm sure you do. And that's well understandable. Probably canned turkey. You're right about that. Little turkey dressed in MRE. It'd be kind of yummy, actually.
Mm.
All right, so Greg's going to be calling in just a minute. Again, if you haven't checked out Greg's channel, Ballistic Barbecue, Dan's Outdoor Cooking, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And we were just sitting outside talking, me and Nate and Bobcat Barbecue, mixing rubs. Been sneezing for the last hour. About different branches and stuff. And so, you know, my dad, he's a Marine, he's a Vietnam veteran, drafted in the Army, Purple Heart recipient. My granddaddy was in the Navy. He actually picked up astronauts when they splashed down in the ocean from the Gemini, I think Gemini 9, from outer space, and they picked them up on the USS Wasp. I've got some video of that. And then, you know, me, my brother Harley, all my buddies that are on here tonight, and now Nate is going to be in the Marine Corps. And so, you know, it doesn't really matter what branch you're from. At the end of the day, although we do pick on each other a lot, at the end of the day, you know, we all serve a purpose. So first time trying a spatchcock turkey, following your instructions and using a silverback. Man, Dave, that is awesome. Just add some salt and some your favorite seasonings on it, and just cook it until your internal temp, and it's going to be good. I guarantee you, it's going to be good. Remember, keep that skin as dry as you can. Get rid of that moisture so it crisps up and it doesn't steam, and it'll be good. I bet they're getting treated to hungry man Thanksgiving dinners. When he graduates, might see him down under in Darwin someday, as we have a Marine rotational force. That's awesome. 2,500 personnel. Good deal, Gavin. Good deal. Looks like this is Greg from Ballistic Barbecue. Hello.
Hey, Sandy. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Hi, Brandy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm a little nervous for some reason. It's weird because I'm actually watching you guys on screen and there's a delay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, sorry about the delay. It might be our Wi-Fi. I'm not sure, but
Oh, it's no big deal. It's just weird. Yeah, it's just you're just a little bit behind what you're saying. Actually, no big deal.
Yeah. So how's so obviously 3 hours earlier from where we are here. How's your weather out there and all that?
It's, believe it or not, actually cold and rainy right now.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a storm moving through. It's coming from down south and moving east, and I mean, cold for us. It's like, I don't know, 51 or something like that.
Wow.
Right now, and it started raining.
That's crazy.
About 1:00 p.m. my time.
Yeah, it's been around 80 degrees here today. I mean, we were outside really kind of sweating today. We did a video on a flank steak and all that, and cooked it on the Gaucho grill, and it was actually, I mean, it was pretty warm out there today. So that's interesting. Of course, Southern California, they've always had some mild temperatures anyway, so the weather's always beautiful out there. So good deal. Well, Greg, I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to call in. I know you're a busy guy, and really appreciate it. But your book has caught my eye. First of all, I mean, obviously we've been aware of each other for a while, and have even kind of collaborated a little bit with the old Vegemite, which was a fun deal.
Yeah, it was.
But also, I have, as a YouTube person just getting into it for a couple of years and still feeling kind of new to it, I really look up to your channel and the way you do things. And the first thing that caught my eye about your book is that it is done in the same way that you do your channel, which is very professional. I wouldn't have expected anything less from the way the book is done. But I want to thank you and welcome you to the show tonight, and tell you that I appreciate you doing it.
So, well, it's my pleasure, Sandy. Anytime, man. Anytime.
So, give us a little bit of background as far as things go, Greg. And before we get into the book, what influenced you growing up? You know, for me and my brother Harley, who's on here, you know, our family, they always camped out all the time. They were always cooking outside all the time. My mom, she owned a barbecue restaurant for a while. Daddy always had a fire going, no matter if it was 100 degrees outside or 20 degrees outside. He just liked playing and building with a fire. So, you know, what were your influences growing up?
Well, you know, my mom's side of the family. So my grandparents both lived here in San Diego, and my mom, of course, they're all from Missouri, or Missouri, as she would say. So, you know, I had that love for Southern food. Well, my grandmother was the best cook of anyone I've ever met. And, you know, we'd have cookouts at their house, you know, barbecues. And then my dad grew up in East LA. I mean, he was a little thug. I mean, I'm being serious. He had to go into join the army in lieu of basically going to jail when he was a teenager.
Wow.
But it squared him away. But
yeah.
He was a tough man. But, you know, he barbecued, you know. So I had some really great memories there with, you know, my father cooking, and the smells just kind of, to this day, bring back those really good memories. The kind of endorphins get fired up whenever I smell outdoor food. And I just grew up loving anything outdoors. I mean, a lot of fishing, a lot of like backpacking, and you know, up in the Sierras, up in like the Mammoth area. If anybody's familiar with that area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ever since I was like an infant, we were going up there on family vacations, and then I kind of grabbed the baton as a teenager, and I would go up there with my buddies, you know, backpacking and everything. So I just love outdoors, and the outdoor cooking part of it is just a natural for me, I guess. I do a lot of like jeeping out in the desert and everything, and we cook out while we're camping. So that's what it all boils down to. And I love Southern barbecue. I mean, of all regions, I don't. Right. You know, I'm not picky when it comes to the different regions. I love barbecue.
So, at what point did you really obviously before you started the channel, you were cooking, you were barbecuing, I assume. But I mean, you say in your book you were out there cooking one day and you just asked your wife to film. I mean, what brought that on, and how did that lead to your channel?
Well, so back then there weren't really the dedicated barbecue channels like there are now. You know, it was, with the exception of like the Barbecue Pit Boys, it was, you know, Joe working on his F-250 one day, showing how he's, you know, changing the water pump. And then the next video was cooking ribs. You know, they were just sort of, there was no structure, I guess, to the channels.
Right.
And I was always a consumer of YouTube videos. I enjoyed watching the YouTube videos. And yeah, one day my sister and my brother-in-law were coming in for dinner. They were going to have dinner with us. And I was doing a pork shoulder, and I had this little piece of crap camera, this little camcorder, and I handed it to my wife and literally said, "Hey, videotape me doing this." And so she did, and I uploaded it. And I had no intent of ever doing another video. I mean, I wasn't Ballistic Barbecue back then. It's like my username was SD4547, and which stands for San Diego. Then it was my police ID, 4547. And then I remember I was getting this like personal message from like this guy in Japan asking for advice on how to do ribs. And I thought, man, this is kind of cool. I'm actually talking to some guy in Japan about barbecue.
Right.
So I did another video and another one, and I was just still kind of doing them very randomly. There was no schedule. And then, I don't know, it took about 3 years, I guess, before it kind of settled in. And I said, you know what, I just might as well kind of make it a thing. And I literally pulled the name Ballistic Barbecue, out of the hat one day, and I opened the video up by saying Ballistic Barbecue. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, just a coincidence. You're talking about speaking to someone from Japan. Gavin McGregor is on here from Australia. He was a while ago, at least. And he is actually the guy that sent me the Vegemite that got sent to you. And now it's got sent to Russ and Mike and whoever else it's got. I don't even know where it's at now, but our relationship with Gavin was kind of like that. I couldn't believe that I was actually talking to someone from Australia. So, it's really neat stuff to meet people from different places that you would never even think that they would be watching your channel.
Yeah, no, it's kind of surreal when you kind of pull back and think about it, actually. But I see Mike Dobbs is on here. Hey, Mike, thanks for the pizza, brother. I had to actually hang out with Mike in Hollywood. Justin and I hung out with him over there. Yeah, cool guy. So,
first of all, I want to say that I appreciate the fact that you sent that digital copy. And while I was reading it, a couple of things stood out to me. And the first thing that stood out to me was your dedication. And you dedicated the book to your wife, Karen, and your son, Garrett. And I thought that was, first of all, really cool. And, it made me think of my channel. And without Brandy's support and encouragement and help, it would be really difficult for me to do my channel. And it's just a small channel, just talk a minute about, how your family has helped you throughout the process.
Well, my wife has been unbelievably supportive, as I can see Brandy is. She doesn't ever want to come on my videos, but she puts up with this crazy hobby of mine. Without her, I wouldn't be doing this. She's been incredibly supportive, and I'm a one-man show. I shoot my videos when she's at work and Garrett's in school. So I just sort of, I use a lot of cameras and everything, and I make a big mess, man. And I break everything down when I'm done with the cook and start my editing immediately. And usually there's still a little bit of collateral damage going on out in the kitchen and everything.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and she's cool about it. She usually kind of helps me clean the mess up. But no, she's been incredibly supportive, and I think she's very proud because there's been some cool things that have happened because of the channel. Like, I was like the grill master at the CMT Awards in 2017 in Nashville. And,
right.
And they flew her out there with that. And, it was kind of a proud moment for me, but looking at her when I was doing the little presentation was, I'll never forget that moment. So, and Garrett just benefits from the food.
Yeah, he's there for the food.
He's right here laughing. It's come probably winter break. I'm going to get him behind the camera so I can get some handheld shots going on.
Yeah.
And really fast, I'm reading the comments. Yeah, Harley, I know John Kane actually pretty well. We used to scuba dive together. And I know he was doing like some Blackwater stuff. I think, yeah. But anyway, back to the interview.
Yeah. Harley contracted with Blackwater for a little bit. So
yeah, he mentioned a guy I used to actually work with him up here on the comments. But yeah, I know John Kane pretty well.
The other thing that caught my eye, and you kind of mentioned it, was the official grill master for the 17 Country Music Television Awards. But what caught my eye more than that was what you said next, which was, but one of the greatest blessings that has been meeting new friends and developing relationships with the outdoor cooking community. And I say that all the time on my channel, especially on the live streams, because all these guys, most of these guys, at least that are on here, are pretty regular, and we've kind of bonded a little bit in one way or another. And Brandy has too. Even getting a call from Amy up just before we went live, and so those relationships are priceless and would not have occurred if I had not started this whole thing. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, I have some folks that I consider true friends that I would do anything for. I mean, they're buddies now. And, I don't just hand my friendships out randomly. I mean, it's something that I cherish friendships. So,
right.
Yeah, some legitimate friends that I've met through this YouTube stuff. And that, you can't put a price on that.
No.
True
friends these days are few and far between. And it's funny, I have found it kind of ironic, to be honest with you, that a lot of the people that I have met just through the channel, I feel closer to than some people that live right down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of weird, but I think it's because barbecue is what we have something in common. And even if we get on other topics that we disagree with, we can still always come back to barbecue, and that's the kind of glue that holds us together.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's crazy. Again, when I step back and reflect on this whole YouTube thing, again, I am just so thankful for my decision to hand my wife that stupid little camera that one day and say, film me. Who knows? I mean, just so many people that I talk to daily now, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have got to know, So
I want to know, is that first video still on your channel?
It is. Don't watch it. It is, though.
So that we're all going to go watch it as soon as we get through with this. I got to see that thing.
Well, the funny thing is I created a username just so I could comment on videos.
Right.
Because of course you can't do that unless you have an account.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found that it was a really nice way of sharing experiences with my mom, who she moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to kind of be closer to her sister. And so, yeah, the first video I did was my son Garrett when he was just a little guy taking his yellow belt test in Taekwondo. And then this other one I did was, again, Garrett and I went on this little adventure with him because he was really into the what is it? It's the guy with the whip. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I went out and hid this crystal skull out in the country, and I made a map and everything, and we went out and found it, and I shared that with my mom. So those are the first two videos, and then the next one is my pork shoulder video.
Yeah, we've got to check that out. So let's get into the book a little bit.
All right.
First off, I'm curious because, I in the back of my mind, I have always played around with that idea too, and that probably goes back to my mom. She worked in a newspaper office for a while, and then in the late '80s, she actually wrote a column each month for Buckmaster magazine, and it was called Wild Cooking, and it was basically about how to cook wild game and things like that. And so she was always really good at that kind of stuff, and that's kind of been in the back of my mind too. But just reading your book and again knowing how you do your videos as well, it's obvious that this is not something that was just thrown together in a couple of weeks. I mean, how long did this take you to compile everything and put it together?
Yeah, well, I started that literally a couple days after I retired from the San Diego PD, and I locked myself. I was like sequestering myself in the house for days on end. I mean, it was crazy, but it took a couple months, I guess. But I was writing every day.
Yeah, and see, that's surprising that it was even that short, because the information that you've got in the book and how informative it is, it seems like it would have taken you a year or so to compile all of that stuff, which again, I guess you go back on your experience that you've gained for the last 9 years plus with your channel as well. So,
and the nice thing is, I come up with recipes. It's like sort of this weird knack I have. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying my brain's wired weird. But I write everything down. Like I did a burger video today, and I whipped up a sauce, and I make sure I write down everything, on that sauce.
right.
And I keep everything. I have like binders that I store everything in. So the recipe stuff wasn't that difficult because I already had all the content. I just had to, transfer it into the book format. But yeah, I did a lot of work on like the history of barbecue, which was fun and very educational for me as well.
Right.
But yeah, it's just all about kind of, again, locking myself in the house. I was sacrificing going out and having fun and just counting on those keys until it was done.
So a lot of the book is about, you cover a lot about different regions of barbecue and, the different sauces and flavor profiles that the different regions have and everything. Two questions. Number one, were there any surprises that you found that, maybe a flavor or a taste that kind of surprised you? Maybe you thought you weren't going to like it, but you did. And if you had to pick a region, what region would be your favorite?
I knew you were going to ask me that one.
Not to put you on the spot.
There weren't really any real surprises for me. Okay, so when I was on the job, I was on this an extradition team. So I would fly out to other states and bring back bad guys that were arrested by. And the sergeant who was in charge of that knew that I was the barbecue guy, so he always sent me to barbecue steaks, always. And so I've eaten most of the foods that are in my book. I've actually had those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nothing was really shocking to me as far as the flavors. Gosh, as far as the my favorite, I knew you were going to ask me this. When it comes to beef, I love, Texas style barbecue.
Yeah.
But I really, really enjoy. I love Memphis.
Yeah.
And Kansas City. I guess those type of flavor profiles. That's what I dig on.
Yeah. Are you more of a beef guy or a pork guy?
I'm more of a beef guy.
Yeah.
I grew up, and actually, you lived around here where I lived a while back.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there was actually a lot of cattle ranches right around where I live, believe it or not, Sandy. Because I've been living here since like 1964. And so my family, we eat a lot of beef. And my favorite's beef ribs, man.
Yeah, and I don't think that I saw a cow while I was out there, by the way.
No, it's changed a lot, brother. I mean, Mission
Yeah.
Valley, all of Mission Valley was a dairy farm at one time.
Wow, that is crazy because
Yeah.
it's just people on top of people now out there.
Yeah, the funny thing is there was never supposed to be any buildings in that area because it's a flood plain. You know,
Right.
The San Diego River runs right through there.
Yeah. But, yeah, me and Brandy, I took Brandy out there in 2015 or 2015 to just kind of show her around. And my cousin, she still lives out there. I think she's around the Rancho Penasquitos area, if I said that right. Yeah. But yeah, and H-Town, Roger, he lived in La Mesa. We used to go over to his house all the time and cook chicken wings on the weekend and hang out with him. But there were some good times out there and some really good restaurants. I know for me, one of my favorite barbecue or burger places that I had the opportunity to go to was Hodad's out there. Me and Brandy went out there, and what kind of burger did you have? I had the Guido burger.
I don't remember that.
I think that was with I think him and Guy Fieri came up with that with the I think the roast beef and all kind of stuff. It was amazing, but that was a great experience going out there and getting to experience that. So I've got a T-shirt in the closet.
Yeah, first boss man Mike, the guy that owned the place, he died not too long ago.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That was really sad.
But yeah, they make a killer burger though. I mean, there's a lot of really cool technique going on there with, they boil the bacon and then fry it after it's boiled, so it gets kind of a fluffy texture. Yeah.
But I love that place. And then obviously we've already talked about the pizza place out in El Cajon and stuff like that. So great area to be living in if you have a channel like you have.
Well, I'm lucky. I mean, look, there's a lot of downfalls living in California, brother, which is...
Well, I'm with you on that as well.
Yeah, we won't be getting into that.
Right.
This is, like, one of these days, I probably won't be living here anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to have the weather, to be able to cook without, I mean, I have a lot of respect. I see, like, Mike out there in Illinois freezing his ass off, grilling out in the snow. That's I mean, mad respect for that.
Right.
I don't have to deal with that. I mean, we cry when it's, like I said, when it's drizzling and 59 degrees out here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I can cook year round. I've barbecued for Christmas,
Yeah. Well, Mike from Everyday Barbecue said you're probably wearing a snowsuit right now. So.
Not quite, but
and
I actually like colder weather. I like cool weather, I guess. But I've been to Chicago, and man, oh man.
Well,
during November, and I froze my ass off.
I know when me and Brandy we went in July, and I mean we were freezing that first day when we went to the beach. I mean, we had to wear long sleeves when we went to the beach, and it was in July. We come back here, and it's like 102 degrees with the heat index or something. So
yeah, no, I remember stepping out of the airport, and I got hit with a cold that I had never felt in my life. It was like cutting through my body, and it was like, holy crap, And I wasn't. I mean, I brought jackets and stuff, but nothing that nothing that I really needed. I mean, I should have been really bundled up.
Right.
But I don't have clothes like that out here.
So getting back to the book a little bit, you cover sauces, you cover rubs, you've got recipes in there. But if you could cover 3 mistakes that beginner barbecuers make, what do you think they would be?
I mean, well, for sure, I think, and these are all mistakes obviously I've made, is obsessing over the pit temperature.
Mm-hmm.
And messing with that damn damper too much,
Right.
When you're live fire cooking, you realize, I mean, that it's a breathing, living thing that's inside that firebox, and it's not going to run a straight temperature line like an oven will. So I think once you accept that, hey, it's okay if it goes up or down 25 degrees or even more, it's not going to ruin your food. And quit chasing that temperature gauge and making adjustments every 3 minutes. That's a huge awakening, I think, to have that little epiphany. Also, you realize that back in the day, they didn't even have, thermometers on their pits.
Exactly.
And they were rocking some great barbecue. Over smoking. I can remember my first offset pit. It was years and years ago. I had this thing. It was a new Bronzefels Black Diamond. And I can remember my earlier cooks in that thing because it was pre videos. There wasn't even like an internet.
Yeah.
And I can remember just loading that thing up with wood and looking at that chimney stack just bellowing gray, white smoke and thinking, yeah, I'm smoking now, man.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, and then I taste the food and it tastes like a telephone pole, that creosote flavor.
Right.
But, so learning how to, hey, if you don't see the smoke, that's actually a good thing. You want to, that transparent blue smoke. That's good. So that, and when it comes to briskets, you get what you pay for.
Right.
I never would in a million years, and I have, I guess this is why I'm saying this, cook a select brisket. I just would rather, out here, there's my butcher shop. It's kind of strange. They sell choice briskets or prime briskets, and it's the same price per pound.
Wow.
Odd.
That is odd.
So I always pay up when it comes to briskets.
Yeah. And so those three things that you said, first of all, I'm glad I asked the question because I like the answers that you gave. And the first thing is being too concerned about the temperatures. I say all the time, I see so many people on YouTube, especially, they get, for example, a pit barrel cooker, and a week after they've had this pit barrel cooker, they've put 3 temperature gauges on it. They have wires sticking out of it. I've had my pit barrel cooker, I don't know how long, 2 years, year and a half, I don't know. It's just like it came out of the box. And I have never had anything bad come off of it. And people ask me all the time, well, what temperature did you cook at? I have no idea. To this day, I don't know what temperature it cooks at. I just know that if I hang ribs on it, they're going to turn out perfect, and I don't have to do anything to it. So, again, I agree with you 100% about the temperature deal and chasing temperatures. I just think that is really overrated. And also for me, I think one of the biggest issues is, and you see it all the time on Facebook, and it drives me crazy, but I've just taught myself to not comment, but the time and temp questions. It seems like everybody today, I guess because of social media, they want to be told what rub to put on it, what sauce to put on it, what temperature to cook it at, what wood to cook it with, and how long it's going to take and when to pull it off.
Yeah.
It's like the learning things for yourself is just gone. And I think, to me, that's part of the experience. Cooking something, learning maybe what you should have done different, and then doing it the next time and seeing if that paid off or not. To me, that's part of the experience.
Discovering something. It's
exactly, and that's kind of part of the fun of barbecue, in my opinion. And so people don't understand, if you buy 3 pork butts from the same place, they weigh the same. You can cook them the same way, but they still may cook differently because they may be from a different animal. The fat content's going to be different, and that kind of thing. So it's not about cooking to a time; it's cooking to an internal temperature. And I think for me, and just like you said, at one point or another, we were all beginners, and we all didn't have a clue about what we were doing, and that has changed the game for me is cooking to the correct internal temperature, because that changes it. For years, I grilled chicken breasts and I overcooked them every single time and thought they were great, until the one time I started cooking to an internal temperature and then really realized what it was supposed to taste like.
Yeah. And then again, with like your briskets and your shoulders and everything, you know, we use the internal temp as a guideline. You know, okay, now I know it's getting close to done, but how does it feel? You know, is that probe going in without any resistance, coming out without any resistance? You know, now it's done.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. And I see guys all the time that say, well, you've got to cook it to 203 degrees.
Yes.
203 degrees, pull it off. Listen, I've had some pork butts, for example, that are done at 199. They're as tender as they can be. And then some that's 208 and they're still not probe tender, you know?
Yep. Like you said, it's a different animal, you know? It's funny you mentioned the pit barrel cooker, because a buddy of mine, he retired like a couple of weeks ago, and I bought him a pit barrel cooker, you know, as a retirement gift.
Nice.
And he calls me up today and he said, you know, he's doing a turkey for Thanksgiving. It's going to be his first cook on it, actually. And one of the pieces of advice I gave him was, because he has a thermometer, a pit thermometer, like a MRVICH, you know.
Right.
And I said, whatever you do, do not put one of the probes in to monitor your pit temperature. Just don't even worry about it. And like you, Sandy, I've owned pit barrel cookers since the company first started, when Noah was making them in his garage.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't know what temperature that thing runs at. I don't know, and I don't want to know, because I think it would drive me crazy if I did know.
Exactly.
But yeah, it bugs the crap out of me when I see these guys that are, you know, doing all these mods to the pit barrel cooker when it doesn't need mods. The beauty of that thing is it just does what it does, and it does good. Just leave it alone.
I agree with you 100%, and I've said that 100 times on this channel, and even to the point where, number one, if you have to buy a $300 pit and then do $200 worth of mods to it, just go buy a $500 pit exactly the way you want it and be done with it. But for me, I've done a little research and spoke with Noah and Amber a little bit, and I know how much time and effort they put into it.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost, if you do all those mods to it, it's almost saying that they didn't do enough research, you know? And I think it's perfect. The beauty of that is the simplicity of it. And if you start doing all that stuff to it, you're making it more complicated than it was intended to be. It wasn't intended to be a pellet cooker, you know? It was supposed to be an entry level. Really, it's as simple that an entry level guy can use it and be very successful at it.
And that's what I love about it. You know, I used to have people come up to me, you know, asking, you know, hey, I want to get into barbecue. What should I buy? And the first question is, well, what's your budget?
Exactly.
You know, and their budget was always lower than even like a WSM, which back then is what I would always suggest.
Right.
For that price line. But now I finally have something that I can say, buy this. It's, you know, what, $300.
Yeah.
And this thing, as long as you follow the instructions, you'll be able to succeed right out of the box. And what other cooker can you say that with? You know, you really, it does all the work for you. It's crazy. I love that thing.
And there's no assembly. I mean, you got to put a handle on, and that's about it.
Yep.
I mean, straight out of the box, and in 15 minutes, you can be cooking.
Yep. And
so that's another thing I love about it. So I think that's a great product. But again, you know, the following the temps and stressing over the temps so much, you're going to make it unenjoyable by doing all of that, you know. And so that's really why I started my channel, is because I want people to see that you can go out in your backyard and turn on some tunes and start your smoker, get a cool drink, and just enjoy your backyard. It should be a stress reliever not to cause stress, you know?
Yeah. No, it's and that's what barbecue is for me. It's a stress reliever. You know, it's something that, just sort of like all the stress out of my shoulder just drains from my shoulders when I'm out there. You know, again, just sort of in the moment, smelling the smells, and you know, it's just cool, man.
So a couple of questions from the subscribers. Is there going to be any kind of book tour?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, if I was to give you an answer right now, I would just say I doubt it.
But now this isn't your first book, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's my second book.
Yeah. But it looks really well done, and I expect. So how can people get a hold of your book?
Well, it's on Amazon. You could probably get. I should have these answers, huh? If you type in actually Greg MRVICH in Amazon, both of my books will pop up.
Yeah.
And then I've been linking my book. It's on my Facebook page and also on my more recent videos.
Now, is it being sold at Target as well? I thought I saw something about that.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it will hit some brick and mortars.
Yeah.
I think Barnes and Noble. I don't know what other stores though, but mainly this publisher deals mainly with the e-commerce stuff.
Memphis in May.
Yeah, has he ever been?
So have you attended the Memphis in May deal?
Believe it or not, I was Memphis in May on an extradition.
Oh yeah, wow. Was it one of the competitors?
No. It's funny. I remember most of these guys what they did. He was actually, if you want to know, he was meth, like buzzed out of his mind on meth, and he was doing these home invasions, and then he fled the state, and then he set up a meth lab in Tennessee.
Yeah.
With some other guy, and he got arrested for that. And then, of course, there was a warrant here in San Diego on him, but that's what he did. But I've been there the one time, and that was just, whenever I do those, when I go there on work or go out of state on work, I'd always try to take some vacation time. So I would usually spend a week wherever I was. Like I drove the entire coastline of North Carolina one time.
Nice.
Just eating barbecue, man. But yeah, I was there one time. I definitely want to go back. And I'm going to be actually cooking at the Hearth Patio and Barbecue Expo in New Orleans in March.
Nice.
Yeah.
So have you done any competition stuff at all? Played around with it at all?
No, it's funny. Well, so I've done small comps like a grilling comp, and when I was part of this network called Tastemade.
Right.
Originally, my aspirations were to start doing competitive barbecue, but when I enjoy what I'm doing now better than I think I don't know. I'd probably enjoy it, but I'm at home. I'm not having to travel, and I know those guys. I mean, I have mad respect for these competitive barbecuers for several reasons. I mean, they've disproven so many myths about barbecue, but right now it's not really on in the crosshairs, so to speak. But I have never done any competitive big competitions or anything.
Do you think that at some point that it might become more work than enjoyment, whereas what you're doing now is more relaxed and enjoyable?
And that's why I honestly decided not to get into it. Like I did a master class with Johnny Trigg.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time hanging out with him. Great guy. And, just kind of talking to him and his wife about what they do. And I just thought, I'm doing everything out of my house and I love it. And it gives me all the satisfaction I need. And I've had, again, some cool opportunities kind of come my way because of it. So I'm content with that.
Right.
So I'm content doing what I'm doing. And I don't have a trailer pit, so I don't know.
The real Joey B wants to know if you have sold any ballistic mojos yet.
Yeah, I don't know how many have sold. I actually haven't, because I'm kind of partnered up with this guy named Cameron who owns Mojo Outfitters.
Yeah.
I know they're selling, but I don't have numbers yet. But I love that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously there's a lot of sauces and a lot of rubs in your book. Have you tried all of the sauces in your book?
I've made all this. Yeah, like I said, everything that's in that book
Yeah.
is out of my personal binders that I've written down recipes or modified recipes, and I kept them on hand. So some of them actually appeared in videos, and some of them just, again, I'm kind of OCD when it comes to barbecue stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So I just, I've kept good records on all that stuff. So to answer your question, everything that's in that book I've had.
So, like mine and Harley's mom, she owned a barbecue restaurant for a while, and I actually worked at a barbecue restaurant for a while before she had hers, and then I helped her as a teenager. She had pulled pork, she had chicken, she had ribs, and then sometimes she did sausage, and then we had sides like baked beans, potato salad, coleslaw. But her sauce was, it was kind of a mix of several different regions. It's really a mustard-based sauce, but it also has apple cider vinegar and ketchup in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference with all the other sauces is that hers had no sugar. There was no molasses. There was no honey. There was no anything like that. So it's really kind of a tangy type sauce, but with a good bit of black pepper in it. But I had the recipe forever, and then I can't find it. And since I started the channel, I've been wanting to do it. And so the other day I just went to the store. I knew the ingredients that she had in it, and I knew it was even down to the brands, because there were certain brands that if she couldn't find, she just wouldn't make her sauce. And
Wow.
it was same brand. And really, you wouldn't think brands make a big difference, but they really do. She always used, and I don't even know how to say it. It's Sours or Sawyer's mustard,
Mm-hmm.
Sauyers. That was the brand mustard that she used, and she wouldn't use any other mustard. But it's really a bright yellow, and it's really got a bite to it. But things like that. But I experimented the other day, and I think I've got it down. I'm gonna have to play with it just a tad more. But so I say that to say this. There's a lot of different flavors of barbecue sauce out there, and I use all of them on my channel. But I don't really prefer the sweet sauces. I prefer more the mustard vinegar type sauce. What is your favorite go-to type sauce?
I mean, me personally, I like that acid that you get from like mustard and vinegar. I like that tang, and then I also like a little sweet, like on pork.
Yeah.
But then what I really love is then a nice little kind of a little burn at the back of the throat while you're eating it. Not an uncomfortable burn, but just like, hey, I'm here, a little heat hitting you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of just enough to get those endorphins rocking a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I like. And I mean, a lot of the barbecue I think out here is because it is, California, we've got people from all regions of the country and it's almost like a lot of the barbecue styles have kind of meshed together,
Right.
And kind of have our own sauce, but it's almost kind of a blend of like Carolina sauce and Memphis and KC all come together.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. And also the sauce, it really depends on what you're putting on, because a fatty, pork butt needs something that's going to cut through that a little bit more than something a little, right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I haven't tried yet, that I want to do on the channel, and I haven't tried it, so I don't know, is the white sauce. That intrigues me a little bit.
The Alabama white sauce?
Yes.
It's killer.
That's
so good.
Yeah, I want to try that. That's something that, and it's different too, just from the looks of what you expect from a barbecue sauce.
Yeah, oh my God, it's good. You know, on chicken, oh, good stuff.
So I'm getting a lot of questions about it, and I've even got it on my sheet here. So for Thanksgiving, what does Greg MRVICH cook Thanksgiving wise? And if it's a turkey, are you smoking it? Are you grilling it? Are you frying it? I mean, what are you doing with your turkey?
Well, yeah, all of the above. when I cook, it just depends. Like a couple of years ago, I fried the turkey. I deep fried.
Yeah.
But then I also, you know, I've done them in my primo or you know, one of my offsets or something. I mean, I love smoked turkey. This year we're going to friends' houses, and I'm not cooking anything. I'm going to eat other people's food, which is a cool thing.
Nice.
But I've already cooked 2 turkeys though.
Yeah.
Before Thanksgiving, actually, you know, I did a turkey on the pit barrel video a couple videos ago, and I actually did another cook right before that. But Sandy, I opened up the wrapping on the turkey the day I was doing the day I was going to start the video, the brining process.
All right.
And this turkey, man, I don't know who tortured this poor bird, but it was a disaster. You know, there was a big slash across the breast, and the other breast had a gash in the skin, and it looked awful. But I thought, I mean, I can't buy another one. I'll just kind of go with it. So I told the camera, hey, this is unfortunately a reality. Sometimes you don't know what you're getting when it's wrapped in white plastic.
Exactly.
So, you know, I trussed it up and I closed all the wounds, and I cooked it, but it looked like a freaking zombie turkey when I pulled it out of the pit barrel. It was just, everything was opening up. It looked horrible. Tasted really good, but I couldn't upload that video. So I went out and bought another turkey. And so I ended up having 2 turkeys worth of cooked turkey in the fridge here for a while.
That's a lot of turkey salad.
Yeah. Gave some away,
and then
we ate a lot of turkey.
And then I'm assuming, you know, just like all of us, you're doing sides on some of your smokers as well.
Oh yeah. I like you know, I love grilled vegetables.
Yeah.
But then I also like smoking root vegetables like beets. If you guys have never made like smoked beets, man, it's, even if you don't like beets, try it. It's really good.
Yeah, those beets, Greg, are kind of like that Vegemite. My mom made me eat beets when I was a little kid, and I can never get that out of my brain. And
So were they canned beets?
Yeah, they were.
It's different. Seriously, give it a shot. Just peel those beets, or actually smoke them, and then the skin comes off after they're out of the smoker. Then dice them up, and they're really good, man. Hit them with a little balsamic vinegar, some pecans, or some pecans.
Pecans. There we go. Let's talk about the burgers for a minute. How did you get on the burger kick, and you know, how did that come about? And you know, obviously you've done tons and tons of burgers, but what's your favorite burger? I mean, is it a smash burger? Is it a, you know, just a grilled burger? I mean, you know, what do you prefer?
My favorite burgers are simple burgers with really fresh ingredients. Those are my favorite burgers. I think that shows a lot, you know, it's just a lot of respect, I guess, to the food.
Yeah. And you grind a lot of your, just about all now, really. You grind your hamburger.
Yes, and I love using ribeye and brisket, short rib. Those are my 3 favorite meats to grind.
Yeah.
You know, and especially short rib, it's a really nice, sweet kind of a flavor. And it kills me when I see people mixing a bunch of stuff into the grind. You know, it's like, let them, like, respect that meat, man. Some cow died for your burger.
Yeah.
And then enhance the flavors of the meat. I think everything should be built around the flavors of the beef.
Right.
But how I got started, honestly, you know, when you're trying to figure out, and I'm still trying to figure out YouTube, because it changes all the time with this algorithm.
Right.
But I thought, who wants to see a burger? it's just such a simple
Yeah.
cook. But I think that's what the attraction is, because it is simple. Anybody can do it. But one of my subscribers, actually out of Australia, her name is Angie. She one day requested that I recreate a Big Mac. And again, I was very leery of doing it, but I did it. And it got a good response. So that was where it all started.
Yeah.
And then I have fun. I really enjoy, like today, I did a burger video, and I literally conceived this burger while I was walking around the grocery store just looking at ingredients, and I was really, really happy with the end result. But I love doing the copycats just because, well, especially if it's a place that I can go to, a local place.
Right.
Because I get to get a little stealthy, and kind of spy and ask a lot of questions. And then the places that are not local, I usually email the owners, and eventually I'll have a phone conversation with them, and they most of those people are very cool with it and will help me out.
Yeah.
And then I had the incident with the Umami Burger. I don't know if I've ever told you about that.
No, I don't think so.
So I did there's a place, it's a chain, started in Los Angeles, and I don't know if they're anywhere but California, called Umami Burger.
Right.
And I was doing some hardcore recon at this place, man, and I was doing tests and everything, and I did a really good recreation of their burger. I mean, I was extremely proud of this burger that I did.
Right.
And then I got an email sent to me from this law firm out of Chicago making all these threats against me. They were representing Umami Burger.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was crazy. And it turns out that they somehow managed to trademark the word umami.
Wow.
And I started doing a lot of digging, and I found where they had sued this restaurant out of Texas for having it was called Umami Mia, this pizza restaurant. And the judge basically found in favor of the restaurant, saying you can't
trademark a word.
You can't trademark a word that's commonplace.
Right.
Umami is a common culinary term. And so I actually sent an email to the judge's office, and his secretary sent me basically all the findings and his final decision. So I emailed that back after about literally, I was going back and forth with this law firm, and then I emailed that to them and basically told them to go F off, and they did. They F'd off. They never emailed me back.
But you would think your video would be advertisement for them. And
that's the way most restaurants see it. And I've had restaurants contact me wanting me to do copycats.
Right.
Because it's free advertising. And the other thing is, if you're confident in your burger in your restaurant, what's the threat from me?
Right.
You think everybody's going to start making umami burgers? No.
Right.
But yeah, and it's funny because this other restaurant, I think they're in Chicago, they had an umami burger on their menu, and I reached out to them, hey, do you mind if I do this? Yeah, and we were actually talking on the phone and everything. And then the day before I was getting ready to do the video, I sent it to her so she could watch it. She goes, hey, do you mind changing the name? Because we're being this other restaurant's threatening a lawsuit. It was Umami Burger going after them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I sent her all the information I had.
Yeah. On your channel as well, I saw where you said you've got probably 20 grills or more around. But watching your channel, I mean, I've seen a lot of your grills, but I don't recall seeing 20. So are there some that are they duplicates of other grills, or you haven't put them on your channel, or do you think you have put all of those grills on your channel? If you go through every one of my videos, then I'm not asking you to do that, but yeah, you'll have seen them. I mean, and I got rid of a bunch of grills just recently because my backyard was starting to look like Sanford and Son, Yeah. But yeah, no, I have like 3 Kamados, and and then I've got a big Gator pit offset, and I have my Lone Star. I mean, I'm not going to itemize them all, but yeah, I have about 20 grills, 20 cookers. Yeah. We're in the process now of and pretty close to being finished building a barbecue shed in the backyard because, we've got a pretty nice little back porch, and originally it was going to be our relaxing place, but then it turned into Sanford and Sons. And
Yeah.
so now
quickly.
So now I'm having to build a separate shed for like a barbecue shed that I'm gonna kind of use it as a outdoor studio too, to kind of film in and stuff. But it's close to being finished. But you know, I kind of feel you as far as that goes. If you had to pick one type of grill, what would it be? Would it be a ceramic? Would it be just your regular kettle? Would it be an offset? I mean, what do you like the most?
I mean, honestly, well, when it comes to barbecue, I don't. It's difficult to beat an offset.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, you get that. You know, the big splits have so much of that sugary sap in there, and nothing's going to duplicate that. You know, not chunks of wood in a pit or a ceramic, and definitely not pellets. And I used to be really snobby when it came to outdoor, barbecue.
Yeah.
If you weren't burning wood, then you weren't barbecuing. But my whole philosophy's changed. One, I ended up getting a pellet cooker, and I thought, you know what, there's a place in my arsenal for this for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if I could only have one. I mean, I love my Lone Star because I can grill on it as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think so. If tomorrow I had to get rid of everything but one, I'd probably keep that.
So it comes down to flavor, but it also comes down to being versatile.
Yeah, because I don't want to just be bound to having to barbecue all the time. You know,
right.
To slow cook. So, and I love to grill too. So I think Chris, the guy that owns Lone Star, came up with that firebox. It's just very versatile. You know, it's I mean, I can cook hamburgers on it if I want steaks. But it's funny you mentioned. So I don't know if you watch my videos. I live on a hill,
right.
So my backyard is actually tiered. Like I have a lower backyard that you guys have never seen, and then the upper backyard, because the lower backyard looks like crap. You know, I mean, it's just kind of undeveloped down there. But I'm having that done actually in December, so it's going to be another cooking area where I can cook and shoot videos. And then under my deck, I'm having them pave underneath my deck, and I'm going to have like two big, like kind of barn doors. So I'll be able to store, I already measured out today, actually, I'll be able to store 5 of my cookers underneath there. So I can clear out the mess of the clutter in my upper yard.
Yeah, that's nice. It's funny you mention that because, and people, they think about this when they watch some of my videos. I've got some of the weirdest questions about like my grass in the yard, or, they'll tell me the pool needs more chlorine or, something, but they wonder. It's hard to see what your whole backyard looks like from that little screenshot, and
yeah.
And I've wondered about your place too, because it looks like you're kind of by a deck, but you've got the barbecue sign behind you and stuff like that. But just living there previously, I kind of know what the landscape is in that area as well, so I kind of get it that it's kind of uneven terrain back there.
Yeah, we're up on a hill.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of times when I'm shooting kind of underneath my patio roof so I can control the light, so I don't have that hard sun coming in on me all the time.
Right. Is there any pit that you don't have that you wish you had?
Well, I don't have, and I'm hopefully going to get, is a Santa Maria or an Argentine style grill.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with an Argentine grill, but it's been on my list for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then I also have this other thing that I'll probably debut, well, after my lower backyard's done, because it's like very heavy, it's like 600 pounds. It's not a smoker either.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. I'll surprise you with it. But yeah, definitely, like I said, a Santa Maria or an Argentine grill.
I was fortunate enough to have a subscriber send me a Argentinian style grill. That's what I cooked the flank steak on tonight. And I mean, can you do the same thing on a Weber kettle or any kind of barbecue grill? You absolutely can. But for me, again, loving fire and that kind of stuff. It's just the whole experience is great. Plus, being able to control the heat by lowering and raising the grate is really cool as well. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier with that thing.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, yes, you can do that with a Weber, but there's also, again, man, cooking with the wood and everything. It's it's different. There's a little place I do a lot of shopping at that they have a really great butcher shop, but it's kind of a little gourmet market. And they have a guy out there every day in a cowboy hat, you know, a big pop-up with a Santa Maria grill.
Yeah.
You know, cooking pork ribs and tri-tips and tomahawk steaks and everything out there. And just when I pull in there and get out of my Jeep, man, it's just nirvana smelling all that. So I definitely, that's super, super high on my list.
Harley wanted to know, is there anybody that you wish you could do a cook with?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do a cook with Johnny Trigg. I mean, because he was just such a great guy.
Right.
And Justin and I are really good. Like my tight little circle of friends. You know, I would love to get together with them and do some cooks with those guys. You know,
right.
You know, Justin and Troy, and yeah. I've been to Justin's house, and we all were cooking, but we were all cooking independently. You know,
right.
Fun, kind of being shoulder to shoulder. You know, coming up with a bunch of crazy stuff. I've cooked with, you know, Harry, but
right.
I'd like to cook with you guys, Sandy.
Man,
Sandy and Brandy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And
on your Argentine grill, man.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And T. Roy's on here tonight. T. Roy, good to see you tonight. Appreciate you being here. I want to say, you know, and without mentioning the obvious famous guys on regular television, you know, Russ, T. Roy, you, Mike. There's so many guys that I have followed and look up to, and I'm just being honest, and I do this a lot. Sometimes I say things that maybe I shouldn't, but it's true. You know, there's a lot of guys. Anybody on any corner can pick up a camera and do a YouTube video. But I want to try to do the best videos that I can with what I have. And I feel like you guys are the guys that do it right. And so you guys are the ones that I kind of use as a benchmark to try to make sure mine are at least that good. And so I want to thank you guys for doing what you do and putting the time in that you do, because it's obvious it's not just something that y'all throw together. And so I really appreciate the time and effort and the example that you guys do and the kind of videos you guys put together.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's kind words, man.
And again, I've searched. There's not many barbecue type YouTubers you can find that are as successful as you have been. I know, and just outside the United States, Pitmaster X obviously has great content and good channel as well. And he's been on here a couple times during my live streams, which is pretty cool.
He's a good guy.
Really good guy, and does, you know, he's really entertaining. Sometimes, you know, you can't fix the personality that you have, you know. But I just try to be who I am, but his personality is kind of mesmerizing in a way. You know, he's got a great personality and does great stuff, you know. So, but I want to thank you for taking the time to come on here and do this. We're going on almost an hour and a half. So, and I know you've got a lot of stuff to go. But I want to thank you again for taking the time to do this. It means a lot. And I know all these guys on here have really enjoyed it. I'll keep the live stream up for the replay in case you're catching it on the replay. But again, check out Greg's book. It's very well put together, and anybody, whether you're just starting out on barbecue or you've been doing barbecue a long time, there's something in there for everybody. So just give it a look. And Greg, one more time, tell everybody how they can get your book.
The easiest way, honestly, is just go on Amazon and type in Greg MRVICH. It's down there in the title of this live stream, and my books will pop. There's 2 books, but yeah, this last one I'm pretty proud of.
Awesome. So again, I can't thank you enough, Greg, and let's stay in touch, and maybe if I get some other weird ingredient, I'll share it with you, and you can do something with it.
You just made me snort, man. Yeah, that's a deal. I love fiddling around with strange ingredients. So yeah.
So Greg, I appreciate you, man, and until we talk next time, just keep piddling, man.
Hey, piddle on, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Have
Thanks,
a great
Greg.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Brandy. You too.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Stephen. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Jeremy, you too. Have a good rest of the week.
All right, guys, we appreciate you being here again. We're going to keep this one up, so if you missed part of it, you can go back and catch it. But great conversation with Greg, as a barbecue guy, as a YouTube guy, but first and foremost, just a great guy all the way around. So I want to thank him again for being on here. And there's a lot of channels out there. T. Roy, Russ over at Smoky Ribs, Everyday Barbecue. But if you haven't checked out Ballistic Barbecue for some reason, you've got to check that guy out, because he does super great videos. And so check it out. Anyway, don't leave before you hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate it.
Mike was in the wood shop.
Mike was in the wood shop. Mike was probably watching somebody else's channel. Don't lie, Mike.
Good night, Gavin.
Gavin, good night, man. Thank you so much for checking in. All right, guys, so we're going to get out of here. We're working on an hour and a half, and it's been a blast. We want to thank you. Check out Greg's book on Amazon, and we're going to enjoy our Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Give thanks for what you have. Spend time with your family and just enjoy the day. Look for my video on the flank steak coming up Friday. And until next time, we'll be piddling. Thanks,
Good night,
guys.
everybody.